My name is Robert. I'm 78 years old now, and it's taken me nearly 8 decades to truly understand what love really means. If you're willing to sit with me for a little while, maybe 8-9 minutes, I'd like to share it with you. This isn't a sermon. It's just an old man telling the story life wrote on his heart. I grew up in a small town in rural Kentucky, back when summers smelled like cut hay and creek water, and everybody knew everybody. My dad was a mechanic at the local garage. My mum waited tables at the diner on Main Street. We didn't have much money, but Sunday dinners were loud with cousins and aunts, and the porch swing creaked every evening while fireflies blinked on and off. From the time we were kids, there was one girl who felt like home, Emily. She lived on the next farm over. We met in 3rd grade when she beat me in the county spelling bee, then turned around and shared her victory candy bar with me anyway. After that, we were inseparable, riding bikes down dirt roads, skipping stones in the creek, sneaking into the county fair after dark to ride the Ferris wheel one more time. Everyone said we'd end up together, and we did. I was 20, fresh out of the army after Vietnam, and she was 20. We got married in the little Baptist church where both our parents had tied the knot. She wore her grandmother's lace veil. I wore my only suit, and the whole town showed up that night, dancing slow in the VFW hall to Patsy Cline on the jukebox. I thought, this is what the songs are about. We built a life. I took over my dad's garage. We bought a small brick house on the edge of town. 3 kids came along, 2 boys and a girl, each one louder and sweeter than the last. Emily turned that house into something sacred. She made the best fried chicken in the county, sang old hymns while hanging laundry on the line, and every Christmas Eve she baked cinnamon rolls that made the whole street smell like heaven. But life doesn't stay sweet forever. When I was 42, Emily started getting headaches. We thought it was stress kids in school, bills piling up, me working late. It wasn't. By the time the doctors in Louisville figured it out, the tumor had already spread. 18 months, that's all we got. I held her hand the whole way through chemo, radiation, the nights she couldn't keep water down. And then, one grey February morning, she slipped away while our youngest was still asleep in the next room. I buried her on the hill behind the church, under a dogwood tree that blooms pink every spring. I stood there in the cold while the preacher read Psalm 23, my boys holding me up because my knees wouldn't work, and the sound of women crying behind me. After that, everything went quiet. The kids grew up and scattered. California, Atlanta, Chicago. They call every Sunday, send pictures of grandbabies I've only met on screens. Wire money when the roof leaks, but the house stayed empty. I retired, kept the garage going with a hired kid, spent years angry at God, at doctors, at the universe, at myself for not seeing it sooner. I quit going to church for a long time. I'd sit on the back porch at night with a bourbon and talk to the dark like she might answer. About 15 years ago, a young woman moved into the old Miller place next door with her little girl. Sarah was her NEMA school teacher who'd taken the job at the elementary school after her husband died in Afghanistan. At first I kept my distance. Old widowers learn to be invisible. But her daughter, Lily, maybe 7 years old, started waving at me every morning on her way to the bus stop. One day she ran over and handed me a crayon drawing. A stick-figure old man with a grey beard, holding hands with a little girl under a rainbow, underneath, in big letters, for Grandpa Bob. Something inside me broke open. Sarah started inviting me over for coffee on Sunday afternoons. We talked about everything: raising kids alone, the price of gas, how the town had changed, recipes for cornbread. Slowly, evenings became something I looked forward to again. Of course, people talked. Small towns always do. Old Bob's got a spring in his step. My own kids called from out of state. Dad, just be careful. She might be after the house. I laughed it off, but it stung. Then one Lent I hadn't observed Lent since Emily died. I found myself back in church on Good Friday. In the quiet of that old sanctuary, between the hymns, I finally asked the question I'd carried for years. Is it wrong to love again? Is it betraying her? No voice from heaven, no sign in the sky, but the next morning, when I stepped outside, Sarah was at my gate with a plate of hot cross buns. She said, "Lily insisted you break your fast with us tonight." And in that ordinary moment, I understood something simple and huge. Love isn't a finite tank. Emily took a piece of my heart with her. Yes, but she also made room for more. I married Sarah when I was 6. The wedding was small, just a pastor, her sister, my middle son, who drove in from Georgia, and Lily carrying the rings on a velvet pillow. No big reception, no dancing, just quiet promises and peace. These past 12 years have been the softest of my life. Sarah never tried to replace Emily. She keeps her picture on the mantel. Plants dogwoods every spring, tells Lily stories about Grandma M, who loved Patsy Cline and made the best cinnamon rolls in Kentucky. And I've gotten to be the grandpa I never thought I'd be. Lily calls me Papa Bob, crawls into my lap for stories about life before smartphones. And now she's in college studying nursing. God bless her. My body's slowing down, bad knees. Heart skips a beat now and then, but every morning I wake to the sound of Sarah humming in the kitchen, and Lily FaceTiming from campus, and I feel wealthy, not with money, but with something far better. Here's what 78 years have taught me about love. It isn't only the wildfire of young passion or the magic of wedding nights. It's being there at 2 a.m. when someone's sick. It's forgiving burnt supper and forgotten anniversaries. It's sitting together in silence when words run dry. It's choosing each other every single morning, even when the mirror shows gray hair and wrinkles. Love isn't ownership. I loved Emily with everything I had, and losing her almost ended me. But opening my heart to Sarah and Lily didn't erase that first love, expanded it. The heart stretches with use, and love doesn't care about the lines people draw. Past loss, what the neighbors think, it only asks, are you willing to stay? Are you willing to be gentle? To the young folks listening, don't hold back from loving deeply just because it might hurt someday. The pain of loss is brutal, I won't sugarcoat it, but it's the cost of having held something priceless. Better to have loved and grieved than never to have loved at all. And to anyone who's lost the love of their life, it's okay to love again. It isn't forgetting, it's honoring what they taught you about love, by keeping your heart alive. I don't know how much time I've got left, maybe a few years, maybe more. But when my day comes, I hope to meet my maker, knowing I loved as fully as I could, with mistakes, second chances, and all. Emily, if you can hear me somehow, thank you for showing me love the first time. Sarah, thank you for proving I could do it again. Lily, my little artist, who drew me back into the light, thank you for reminding me love can start fresh at any age. Love people. Stay kind. Keep your heart open, even when life tries to close it. That's the only thing I know for sure, after 78 years. If this meant something to you, maybe pass it along to someone who needs it tonight. And if you're carrying your own story of love and loss, no, you're not alone. We're all just trying to love a little better tomorrow than we did today. Thank you for listening to an old Kentucky boy ramble. God bless you.